I rise in support of HJ Resolution 78 offered by Representative LaMalfa from California, which would undo the listing of the Longfin smelt in the San Francisco Bay Delta Distinct Population Segment under the Endangered Species Act. The listing was based on flawed science in response to an ESA-related lawsuit and adds yet another piece of regulatory red tape preventing water from reaching California's Central Valley and communities further south. California's Central Valley is one of the most prolific agricultural regions in the world, growing hundreds of crops that feed millions of people. However, this region faces continual water uncertainty due to drought and ESA-related regulations. The Central Valley Project, or CVP, transports water from wetter areas in Northern California to drier areas further south, including the Central Valley. It is subject to ESA biological opinions that mandate water that would otherwise go to communities and farms be diverted to the San Francisco Bay. The effects of this can be seen at this very moment in California, where federal reservoirs are almost full, yet many farmers are only receiving half of their water allocations. This is in large part due to restrictions imposed by the ESA, which will only be exacerbated by the listing of the Longfin smelt. Unfortunately, the rush to judgment that ensued from the lawsuit resulted in a listing based on flawed assumptions and bad science. First, by solely focusing on the Bay Delta rather than the Longfin smelt's entire range, the service ignores the fact that the species have been found in dozens of locations, including in and around every tributary of the San Francisco Bay, meaning the Longfin smelt is not at risk of extinction and does not meet the statutory definition of an endangered species. Instead of being based on science, this listing comes from the common radical environmental playbook of suing for a predetermined outcome. Radical groups have litigated for years trying to get the Longfin smelt listed under the ESA, with a 2024 lawsuit compelling the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to make a listing decision being the latest example. Unfortunately, as with many ESA-related lawsuits, the species is rarely the true motivation. The leader of the organization that filed the lawsuit in question said the not-so-quiet part out loud when he said that protecting the Longfin smelt going forward would require taking more water away from farmers. I urge my colleagues to support this CRA and roll back this misguided listing, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman